Hey, everybody, welcome to your Spark. Hope you're doing fantastic on today and that everything is moving in the right direction for you. Hope that on today that you're up and at 'em and getting after it as we always do. I'm super excited to be here with you. I'm Coach David, and I'm the author of the book, You Are the Architect of Your Life, where I teach you how to design, build, and live the life that you want to live. I think it's just important that we understand that right from the beginning that we can have, be, or do anything that we desire, but we just have to make a decision and then follow through with the necessary steps. And my thing is always about helping you get to where you want to be, live the life you want to be, do the things that you want to do in order that you would be happy. And that's really what it's all about. I said it before and I'll say it again and again and again. All the things that we do because we want to be happy. And so why not just be happy and watch all those things come into play in your life? And once again, I'm super excited that you're here with me on today. Today, I'm going to talk about how to deliberately create your life using the boomerang principle. And you may or may not have heard about the boomerang principle, but I'll talk about that. It's really about being a deliberate creator. And when we say that we're going to be deliberate creators, we're saying that, hey, we're going to do this intentionally. We're going to do this consciously. And what I mean by that, I'm going to be aware that I'm doing this, that I'm creating my life. And so I think that it's really, really important that you be a deliberate creator. Just don't let life happen to you, but you create the life that you desire. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and shout yourselves out. And we will get going and rocking it today. Please share this with somebody and let them know that, hey, the spark is on and Coach David is there bringing us inspiration and motivation that's going to take us through another week and get us where we need to be. I want you to be super excited. I want you to get happy just because you're alive today. That's a good enough reason. That's all the reason I need to be happy, to be excited, because I understand this right here, that I have the tools that I need in order to design the life that I want. So if we're going to be deliberate creators and we're going to use the boomerang principle, we need to understand certain things. We need to have what I would call some life guidelines, some things that towards deliberate creation that I say, hey, this is exactly the way it is. I have to accept and acknowledge that my thoughts, they are creating my reality. How I think and what I think is very important in creating my reality. I have to understand that my beliefs, my values, my choices, and yes, even the very conversations I have are creating my future. And I always say, if you don't like where your life is currently, you can change it. And so I hope that you will take that on. So those are a couple of guidelines that I always go to. And when I talk to people, I always ask them, do you believe that, you can be a deliberate creator? Do you believe that the thoughts that you have are creating the world around you and your life? And those principles, you have to say, okay, yes, I do believe that. And yes, I am going to operate by that. And when you do that, now you can move forward in building and designing the life you want. Let me say this very quickly. If you don't believe that, I'm going to challenge you with something. I'm going to challenge you to go and to do necessary study in order to learn that and to see that, because it is true. That's just the way it is. People will tell you all sorts of things. All I say is this right here. You go study for yourself, find out for yourself, and then begin to work this principle. All right, so let's talk about the boomerang principle. Now, if you know anything about boomerangs, you understand that a boomerang is a dual wing airfoil that is thrown. And when it is thrown, it returns back to the thrower. So you can take that boomerang. I've seen them before and handled them before. You take it and you throw it and as it spins, the air pressure on top is higher than the air pressure on the lower side, and it causes that boomerang to go out and rotate back and come right back to the thrower. Another way of saying the boomerang principle is to say an act or an utterance, it can come back on you. It comes back to the originator. But the truth of the matter is it can come back, it can backfire on you, or it can come back and it can build the type of life that you want. I want to show you today on how to build the type of life that you want using the boomerang principle. Boomerangs come back to the persons that throw them. That's just how it works. But watch this right here. Your persistent thoughts, my persistent thoughts, they always come back to us. They always do. Whoever throws that persistent thought out, that is going to come back. Now, it may come back in another form, and it always does come back in another form, but it does come back. And notice that I said your persistent thoughts. Now, we all have fleeting thoughts. Thoughts come in and they stay for a minute and boom, they're gone, and we don't think any more about them. That happens all the time. But we also have those thoughts that we send out. We send them out and we continually think about them over and over and over again. We play them over and over again in our minds. You know what I'm talking about. Somebody does you wrong on the job and you replay that thing over and over and over. And then you wonder, why does this keep happening to me? Well, the truth of the matter, the boomerang principle is in operation. You keep sending out those thoughts. You keep sending out those conversations. You keep sending out those words, and you're persistent in it, and it comes back to you. That's the boomerang principle. And a lot of us are unaware of that, and we're creating a life we don't want. Now, some of us and many of us, we are aware of that, and we are creating the life we do want using the boomerang principle. Now, I found and discovered that with most people, there are two common thinking challenges, two thought challenges, if you will. The first one is what I call sloppy thinking. In other words, we're just careless. We're unconsciously doing things and saying things and thinking things. And so when you get sloppy with your thinking, what'll happen, that sloppiness shows up in your life, and it shows up in a way that you get something that you don't want. So we have to be aware of using sloppy thinking. We have to understand that we got to take better care of our thinking than that, and we can't be sloppy in that manner. It's kind of like making a bed up and making it up sloppily. It looks like the bed isn't even made. And a lot of times in our life, that's the way we feel, like, I didn't make this, I didn't do this, I didn't cause this. Well, the truth of the matter, if we go back, I have to accept and acknowledge that my thoughts are creating my reality. I have to accept that. Now, when I accept that, I can begin to change that. Here's the second type of thinking challenge, if you will, and I call that reactive thinking. What is that? Reactive thinking means I'm responding to something that happens. Listen closely. You don't have to respond. That's right. One of the things of really maturing in this is understanding that everything that happens, you don't have to give a response to it. You can see some things and witness some things and let them pass you by. You don't have to react to them. And many times what we do, we react to certain things by the way we think, by the way we feel, by what we say. And then we wonder, once again, why does this keep happening to me? And I go back to what I said again, my beliefs, my values, my choices, and even my conversation. That is creating my future. Now, remember, no matter what you think, remember that every thought has an emotion attached to it. So when you think something, you get a certain emotion. That's also known as a vibration. And watch this right here. Like attracts. When you have that emotion, that vibration, it attracts. And here's another key point that I think that if we get a hold of this, we'll be able to mature in this a whole lot faster. If we will judge how we feel, it tells us where we're headed. If it doesn't feel good, we're not headed in the right thing for us. Now, let me pause right here for something. Just because it feels good to me, it may not feel good to you. This is a personal thing. And so you may be headed down the wrong direction while I'm headed down the right direction. That's why I don't never, ever put mine into yours and you don't put yours into mine. That's why we're individuals. And that's how you get to create the life that you want. You know, you are always getting feedback, and your feedback is how you feel. And I've had people tell me before, oh, it doesn't matter how you feel, just do it anyway. Well, yeah, it does matter how you feel because your feelings are indicators of whether or not you're on the right course. And if it doesn't feel good to you, you need to understand why it doesn't feel good to you, and then you need to change some things. So what I want to do is I wrap this up on today. I hope this has helped you. I want to give you some steps to deliberately create using the boomerang principle. And they all start with A. Number one is awareness. I got to be aware of my thinking. I got to be aware of my talking. I got to be aware of my choosing. I got to be aware of my feelings. Being conscious about things, being aware, that's what conscious means. Being aware is very key to me creating the life I want. I got to get out of that sloppy thinking. I got to get out of that reactive thinking. I have to be aware. Number two is called application. What is that? Well, now I got to practice this. I got to put it into practice. I got to apply it. If I'm aware of my thinking, now I can apply a better way of thinking. I can practice shifting my energy by shifting my focus. And so if I shift my energy by shifting my focus, my thoughts become different. I put out a different emotion, a different vibration, and my life is different. So I got awareness, I got application, and then here's the third one. I have to allow. What do you mean? I cannot force this. Forcing it causes resistance. And if you feel resistance or you feel strain to what you're creating, to what you're bringing to pass and what you're allowing into your life, then all you need to do is back away from it for a minute and go a little bit general with it, and then let the resistance ease up. I know this from electricity. The more resistance there is in electricity, the less the power flows. When you remove all resistance or remove some resistance, more energy flows into whatever the energy is flowing to. And so what I have to understand is when I feel resistance, I'm slowing down the energy. And all I have to do is adjust, become more general. So if I become aware of what I'm thinking, talking about, choosing, feeling, and then I'll put into application by shifting that energy force and then allow the energy to flow, I'm on my way to deliberately creating using the boomerang principle, because whatever you think about comes about. And so just like when you throw that boomerang out, it comes back. The same thing with your thoughts. Well, I hope this has helped you on today. Thank you so much for joining me. Share this with somebody. Shout it out, because it has been a true blessing to share this with you on today. But remember this right here. Remember this. No matter what you face this week going through your week, remember this right here. You are the architect of your life, and I believe in you. I will see you next week. Bye.